When I told him that he was my dad, he was like, oh, really? Oh, my daughter.
You love your free time and hanging out with this dude here.
Why did you name him Sanchez after your best friend?
For my past to come back and bite me.
This is what is so valuable about coming to court.
I don't have the money right now.
I never, ever said that.
That she had been lied to before. Everybody lies.
My children remember that because they were already born then when I wasn't.
3 adults and 2 different mothers were in a paternity showdown. The suspense was building as these guys aimed to prove the identity of a mysterious father. Yep, all 3 claimed the single defendant to be the daddy.
Well, good day, everyone.
Good day.
3 different adults with 2 different mothers brought the same defendant to court today in an effort to prove paternity. Mr. Heron and Mr. Medley, you are here to prove to Mr. Medley Sr. that you are indeed his sons.
Yes, Your
and
Honor.
say results of today's DNA test will force him to stop denying you.
Well, if these guys were prepared, so was Mr. Medley Sr., who seemed to have left a trail of doubts and affairs. It's like a twisted love triangle over here. Even though he and baby mama ended up getting married, surprises were waiting just around the corner.
I met her when I was playing in a band, which was about maybe 3 blocks from where she lived. She would come, she would be there, you know. And after about 4 weeks, she came up and introduced herself to me. But as time went on, I started hearing rumors that she was having sex with other men. Here, start trouble. He said, well, she has been with him, but he didn't know that she was married.
Oh.
Oh boy, those doubts were as real as they could get. And they cut deep. Both Herons had their reasons as to why they thought they were denied their whole life. And they laid them all out in open for the daddy to see. Was it betrayal? Or was there more to this complicated story?
The reason why I think he's denying me is because when his mother died in 2007, he was nowhere in our lives before then. His mom came down for Christmases,
birthdays, everything.
Gave us
and she
everything.
treated us like we was her grandkids.
When she
and she told us, no matter what your daddy say, you guys are always going to be my grandkids.
Grandmother kept saying, it's painful, they've been through enough. She would not allow me to do it.
Moving on. The hurt and pain was pretty real with these guys. The hospital drama proved to be the last nail in the coffin for their parents' divorce. Yep, the absence of the father was glaringly obvious at that point.
Take your time.
I died 3 times in the hospital because of you, man. And I hate you for that. I want to let you know that.
With two stuff all on because somebody buried him and we still don't know who did it. He said it was a babysitter that we don't even know about. We never seen this babysitter.
Make sure, so me and my brothers want to get split up.
That's how they got divorced, was after that. After he got burnt, that's when they got divorced.
Oh my goodness.
There's a whole lot of emotional turmoil, and the court was drowning in it. And we know how much of Softy Lauren Lake is. So she jumped straight into the paternity of the 2 sons first. Cue the tears, folks.
Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Maurice Heron. You are the father. To the results for Victor Medley Jr. Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Victor Medley Jr. That you are the father.
Well, these results were certainly eye-opening for the daddy dearest, and the guy still had the audacity to just stand there and do nothing. Well, that won't fly with this court, nuh-uh.
It's taking all of my energy right now to not come off this bench and just hug them up. But what I do see in these young men is that if you would just take an honorable step in their direction, they would receive you.
I'm sorry that it come to this.
Yes.
Love you, man.
Next in line for a paternity test was Ms. Johnson. Now she grew up without a father, and at one point she just had enough of that. She took matters into her own hands. But her dear old mommy proved to be somewhat difficult. Oh yeah!
In your statement to the court, you indicated you grew up not knowing who your father truly was.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me about that.
I grew up in and out of foster care, but I had asked my mom, one day I was looking in my mirror when I was a teenager and I didn't look like her anymore. And I'm like, I don't know who I'm looking at. The stranger that I'm looking at in the mirror, I need to know.
So the baby daddy had no idea he had a daughter, and then bam, Facebook gave him one heck of a surprise. However, the supposed father-daughter duo had slightly different versions of how the events went down. Oh!
Up until this point, had you heard anything about you having a daughter?
No, but I did not deny her. We didn't get into this DNA test until on Mother's Day. When I had over from Mother's Day, kept talking about I need a DNA test.
No.
And so, Mr. Medley Sr., you claim that it was her asking for a DNA test?
That's not true.
So you had accepted her.
Yes.
But you claim she wanted the DNA test.
Yes.
Buckle up, people, because the plaintiff was on a daddy-bashing train and she was not planning to slow down at all. Yep, guess she was done waiting all these years for him to step up. And now all she wanted was closure.
I asked you, oh, I'm so happy you're gonna send me a picture. Asked you, would you help me? I text you, you didn't text back. I called you, you didn't answer the phone. I left you a message, you didn't leave me a message back. I sent you a message on Facebook and I waited for at least a week and you did not answer me. So then I told you, delete them pictures off Facebook, take my kids off Facebook. We don't want nothing to do with you.
Gather some tissues, people. We are about to reveal the results. Yep, they were in for MS Johnson. Time to see whether love and forgiveness will take center stage or will the journey continue. Here goes nothing.
Pertaining to whether Victor Medley Sr. is the biological father of Christian Johnson, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Medley Sr., you are not her father.
Okay.
The last time the plaintiff laid eyes on the potential father was 16 years ago, and now Mr. Gower was on a quest to prove that Mr. Ducasse was his biological father. Are they ready for this emotional reunion? I think not.
Gower, you are here to prove to Mr. Ducasse that he is your biological father. You say after your mother's tragic death, you were told by your grandmother that Mr. Ducasse is your dad. It has been more than 16 years since you laid eyes on the man you believe is your father. Are you ready to see him?
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant straight up denied this possibility and seemed sure of that testimony. But wait till you hear what the son had to say in response. Man, he made something of his life despite his absence, and yet the void gnawed at him.
Your Honor, I come here today to tell you that this has been real hard for me. This is an emotional moment for me. The fact that for 24 years of my life, not having no mother, losing her, and then the fact that my father just stranded me, knowing the pressure that I'm gonna have to deal with by myself, of not being there for me, it hurts me. Even if I had a child of my own, I would never leave my child stranded if that's my own blood. You cannot consider no man to me, you're a coward.
The relationship backstory unfolded as Mr. Ducasse revealed that he used a withdrawal effort during their one-night stand. And boy, did that add an extra layer of doubt to the situation. His reaction to the pregnancy news was hardly enthusiastic, to say the least.
She basically made it clear to me that she wasn't sure if it was me or the other person that was involved.
Well, if you wasn't, excuse me, Leroy, why did you name him Sanchez after your best friend? You came to the hospital.
You said you just had a one-night stand.
Yes, after that happened, I tried to basically just be there for her. We had progressively became more attached.
It appears both parties had certain grievances with each other, and Mr. Ducasse had a whole list of them. Well, the judge simplified their issues for them, while being on the brink of tears herself.
Developed a friendship, but it is your testimony that you were only intimate with her one time.
Yes.
Did she ever tell you that she told the other man that when she got pregnant, he was Mr. Gower's biological father?
She didn't actually make it clear to who was.
Why would you not take a paternity test?
Find a lawyer, anybody, and say, I may have a child out there.
Safe to say, these guys had a lot of issues to work through. Well, they will keep the family counselors quite busy. Apparently, baby daddy pulled the vanishing act on the son, and the trouble began.
Interfered with a 2-year long-standing relationship, right? I was like, what you could say, irresponsible or diminished, my obligation. At the time, I was adamant to the fact that there was no premises that could substantiate or validate any merit towards me being Sanchez's father.
So the last 16 years without the father were just tragic for this guy. The grandparents had to step into the roles of parents for their grandchild, and the guy made a life for himself, which was nothing short of commendable. And Lauren applauded that fact, and more.
It's been hard. It really has. And I try to stay strong. And sometimes it's real hard, That's why I want to major in child psychology, because I hate seeing young kids, especially, go through stuff like this. How can men, and that's what I just don't understand, how can men have sex with women, get them pregnant, and then just leave them?
When I hear you speak, I am so proud of you.
As the case headed towards the conclusion, Mr. Gower took one last look at the defendant and raised the one question that kept nagging him all these years. Oh boy, you better gather some tissues, cause stuff was about to get real emotional. And when Judge Lake cries, you better believe it's gonna get you too.
Imagine what you gotta go through.
You know?
And just no, listen to me. Listen, it's my time to talk. This is my time. And you gonna listen what I gotta say. I'm grown enough now. I'm not no little kid no more. I'm here to tell you that could you handle being in my shoes? Can you? Can you imagine what it's like walking across the stage and your parents is not there?
From my perspective, at that time, there was a lot of maturing that I had to go through as well.
What does that have to do with me?
I warned you. You're gonna have tears and snot watching this young fella display all kinds of emotions. And there were more, as Laren Lake and Mr. Gower have one heart-to-heart.
No, okay? That there was a lot of things that occurred with me. Why, it's not to say that I didn't care about to figure out whether or not I had a son or not, right? It's just that the fact that so much had compiled on me, even health.
I think he does understand the things you're saying.
Okay.
And I mean, he's a young man, but at 24, I think he understands that life continues to happen.
The moment of reckoning was here. The judge had the results, and we all are on the edge of our seats, aren't we? Let's see whether this decade-old mystery finally gets a conclusion or not.
Mr. Ducasse, you are the father.
Lord have mercy, Jesus.
A father was here to battle for the paternity of his baby. Mommy had a change of heart and now sang a different tune. Different baby daddy. Let the paternity rumble begin.
Good day, everyone. You say Jason is the most important thing in your life, and you are praying the results today turn out. Now, Ms. Guerin, you admit you slept with another man at the time your son was conceived, but you say that was only after the plaintiff strayed. You too are unsure about your son's paternity and are desperate for today's results.
Brace yourself for a wild ride that was this relationship drama. So Mr. Deggs happened to get a surprise of a lifetime from his best friend. And guess what? The baby mama admitted to it, and that too without an iota of remorse. Ouch!
At the time, we were moving out of my best friend's apartment, and it was just about that I got the truck loaded up with everything. And I went upstairs to grab my last box, and my best friend at the time pulled me aside and told me him and my brother had both slept with me.
What?
I was hurt.
They both.
Your
Both.
Honor, he
They both
cheated in the
slept.
very beginning of our relationship. First cheated.
Boy, before you get to what he did, I want to know, is it true?
Yes, it is true.
Dear God, Ms. Guerin's pregnancy was just a maze of doubts, deceit, and a tangled web of infidelity. Loyalty was like finding a needle in the haystack. The baby mom betrayed the baby daddy in every way possible.
But you slept with my brother too.
Yes.
You slept with my
after.
best friend and my brother. So if okay, twice the
Ms.
pain.
Guerin, please tell the
Twice.
court. How did you end up with his brother too?
And somebody else.
I moved you in. You
somebody
paid
else.
nothing. You were taken care of.
You worked for
did.
the
You
newspaper.
moved out of your mom's. Yeah.
So you're
I
like
did work
barely
for the
making it in
newspaper,
an
but still.
apartment.
Well, the origin of pregnancy was sketchy at best, and the defendant's actions led to more and more turmoil. Surely, after all this, the guy must bid farewell to the baby mama. Well, you guessed wrong. Oh yeah, he stayed!
I loved her that much that I wanted to work on it again.
Wow.
Because I loved her that much.
Because you knew he cheated from the gate.
No, because I loved
Yes?
you.
Okay.
I loved you.
Had you cheated?
Not until after. That's when I strayed. When you slept with my best friend and my brother is when I strayed.
I realize, Deggs, maybe you cheated as well. However,
Yes.
to the child, he was there.
Yes,
I
he was there.
I cut the cord. I've been there since day one, taking care of this baby and this woman.
The window of conception was murky, the confusion was real, and desperation? Well, that was an all-time high. The plaintiff stayed, and the mommy's response to that was just an okay, and that was so not okay with the judge.
And you're the one that slept with his brother and his best friend, and you were the only one during the entire pregnancy that knew that there was doubt as to whether he was the father. So you got to understand at least why he could be a little hurt.
Of course.
I had a rough childhood.
Of course.
I wanted
just
to be
want
daddy.
to say that I did.
Moving on, the baby daddy took us to the day the "you are not the father" got dropped on him. Turns out mommy had no knack for subtlety, huh? However, she claimed she wasn't cold and callous, though. I know. Hard to believe that one?
And out of nowhere, she throws at me. You're probably not even the daddy of Jason anyway.
No,
I
did
crumbled
not
right
throw it
there,
at him
started
like
crying.
that. I would never
What?
do that.
You told me after this long that I'm not the daddy and we're in an argument? What is it? Am I the dad or am I not? How you gonna break my heart like that? I love that little boy, and I know what it's like not having a dad there. So I wanted to be everything that I could be.
You love your free time and all the women that you
no,
love
you
to
love
go
your
hang
free
out with
time
more
and hanging
than
out
your
with this
son.
dude here.
You would think that after that revelation, the guy would now be finally done with the woman. But nope, the man still stayed. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ain't he proving that right? However, his current girl was supporting him though, so all's not lost, I guess.
If I'm the father,
Like
it bothered me every day. You know, I had so many different. I stayed with her.
You stayed with her again.
Again, I stayed with her.
So
Jason and I ended up breaking up because I couldn't do that to him.
cheated on him.
And I couldn't do that to Jason. And I couldn't do that to little
So
Jason.
basically, you're here today because you feel as if Jason, Mr. Deggs, is a better parent than Ms. Guerin.
100%.
Oh my God.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for? Yep, the results were in and ready to be revealed. Judge Lake seemed to be just done with the attitude of the baby's mama and gave the final verdict. Oh, but Ms. Guerin was just begging for trouble. Well, she got a heavy dose of it.
Mr. Deggs, you are not the father. Everything you've done thus far has been the right thing.
That's all I've been trying to do was the right thing for him.
A classic tale of devotion and deception was about to unfold here, folks. Mr. Jones had a dream come true, fatherhood. Sadly, it quickly turned into a nightmare. Mrs. Jones admitted to her infidelity. And now we're about to witness the most sarcastic dance of is she or isn't she in the world of paternity.
Mr. Jones, you claim that after 48 years of trying to become a father, your dream became a reality. But that initial excitement turned into a nightmare as your wife admitted that she had been unfaithful. You now believe 4-year-old Tamari is not your biological child, but will be crushed if the DNA results are negative. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the baby mama finally let the cat out of the bag, though she did that during a heated argument. Oh, the betrayal. Hard to come back from that one, right? And on top of that, it appears mommy was in desperate need of biology lessons.
That I have a baby, but...
So you stepped up as a dad to do the right thing.
I did the right thing,
And for the past 4 years, you've been there for Tamari.
I ain't
But
yet.
the truth is, as you look at this beautiful baby, every day you're studying her features going, I don't see me.
Right, at 48, I had the baby.
Miss Jones, no man can overpower his sperm.
Yeah, one time could just,
It only takes one time.
Well, the roller coaster continues as we learn how they ended up here. It seems the husband had a friend who was the informant, catching Mrs. Red-handed, and that led to a revelation that shook their relationship to its core.
Got a homeboy, he seen her leave the apartment and get in the car with other people, and he told me a couple of times about it, but I never believed him. And then I asked her about it, and then she came clean, and she told me.
Wait, I thought at that moment, I thought in my head, I believed that he had someone and that on the side. So I said, you know, why put my all into it? I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. It was about 2 times.
The tit-for-tat game was biting back strong now, ain't it? Moreover, it seemed baby daddy had lived a hip-happening life, and according to his exhibit, he failed to impregnate anyone in all those years. So how did he manage to do that to the wifey? Now, that was the million-dollar question.
Where you basically say you lost your virginity in 1981, and you've had 33 years of an active sex life, and no one has ever gotten pregnant until 2014,
Yes, Your Honor.
which is your wife.
Yes.
You're saying, I've never impregnated anyone.
Nobody never told me.
And you've had multiple women.
I had multiple women.
Moving on, it appears Miss Jones was not aware that the doubts and reservations of her husband dearest ran this deep, and that led to a pretty emotional altercation next. She was in the court now. No use keeping anything secret at this stage.
It's very, very hard to talk about. I have done and said and a lot of things that I'm not proud of today. That I would
To your husband?
To my husband. For my past to come back and bite me.
I understand.
I love my husband, and I want my daughter to have what I never had, and I don't want this to be.
The baby mama really wanted the husband to be the father. The marriage, along with the baby, hinged on those results. But before we go to that part, you have to watch how the baby mama appeared to be sure she got pregnant by Mr. Jones.
I believe so.
You believe you do know where he is?
But I don't want, honestly, I don't want him in our lives.
Mr. Jones,
Yeah.
I can see the pain in your face.
Your Honor, I don't understand all this. It's hard right here.
And one of the nights before conceiving like weeks before, because I only knew that I was pregnant around 2 months.
The suspense has reached its climax, but no worries, because it was the results time. Will the baby mama get her wish fulfilled and this marriage get saved, or did that one mistake gonna cost her everything now? Let's find out.
Mr. Jones, you are the father.
Two parties were locked in a fierce courtroom battle over paternity. Suspicion and doubt cloud the air as the alleged father and daughter stood divided, each questioning the truth. Can the DNA test provide the ultimate revelation? Let's find out.
So neither of you believes that the man standing next to you is your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Conrad.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you've given the plaintiffs no reason to doubt that he is her biological father, and today's results will prove your case. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Horton, your daughter is 26 years old.
Now let's dive into the specifics of this relationship, because that's where all the drama resides. No, and bingo, there it was. It appears, while Mommy was absolutely sure about paternity, Daddy narrated all the incidents he caught the woman cheating.
And a friend of mine, we were sitting there partying, and I seen him give me the eye. And I said, I'm not stupid. I said, okay, so I went to act like I was going to bed. I heard the door shut, real quiet. I knocked on the door. I said, let me in. You're not coming in. I said, is Brenda there? No. I said, let me in. She opened the door, and she was in there.
Ms. Conrad, is this true?
I have ran around on him, yes I have.
Miss Conrad stood there accused of infidelity, leaving Mr. Horton shattered. However, the guy was so not above using derogatory terms to describe her shenanigans. Now that was just rude. Who's really to blame in this messy affair?
That was wrong.
I just got that. Okay, we want to be respectful in the courtroom.
I'm trying to be respectful. That's why I put it nicely.
Ms. Conrad, this is really upsetting you now. Why?
Yeah, because it's not true.
It is so true.
I'm not like that. Your Honor.
My daughter
Wait,
can't
hold on. What part of it is untrue?
Well, the disrespect that he's given me.
I'm not
It's
trying to
not
disrespect
true.
him, but just trying to tell the truth.
Rewinding back, we get to know these guys met when Mama was only 15 years old. Yep, the sweet 16 love. Meanwhile, the daughter couldn't help but praise Mama's beauty, and that struck all the right chords of the judge's heart.
I was 15.
You were 15 when you met. So you were very young when you met.
Yes, you're right.
And
beautiful. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
You don't ever have to apologize for saying your mother was beautiful. So you all start this relationship.
And I'm not here to, make anybody upset or nothing, but
I see that you feel pulled
my mother's in my
between
life, yes.
your mother and your father.
As the tale unfolds further, the plaintiff drops a bombshell. It appears the guy had beef with a mailman with blonde hair, blue eyes, and a beauty mark. The shockwaves rippled through the courtroom as he presented evidence to back it up.
And we had a mailman that had light hair and blue eyes and had a beauty mark right here. My daughter has blue eyes, blonde hair, and a beauty mark in the same exact spot.
It's cute though.
There was a mailman in your town.
Yes, there was.
Sir, you brought an exhibit.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, step over to it.
All right, thank you. My daughter has blonde hair. The man would have blonde hair. The man would have blue eyes. My daughter's got blue eyes. The birthmark, I call it, or beauty mark, whatever you want to call it, had the same mark, the same spot.
Oh, the secrets from the past were resurfacing like crazy. But guess what? The mailman was news to Mommy as well. Man, this courtroom drama was turning into a high-stakes reality show.
But you know who this mailman is. He's talking about. You don't even remember this person.
Oh, no, Your Honor. This is new to me.
That's because there was so many of them.
So the milkman, what happened to the milkman?
Hold
now
on.
It's the mailman. It was the milkman. Now it's the mailman.
Well,
It's like a back and forth, a vice versa thing with him. I don't know whether he can keep the right story or not.
So wait. First he used to say it was the milkman?
With every twist and turn, the truth becomes a puzzle. And this had gone on for 26 long years. Amidst this chaos, a past DNA test gets revealed, along with its results. But will that have any sort of effect on the dear old father? Let's see.
Saying that you had a DNA test performed in the court?
No, the court, when they were in foster care.
What were the results?
99% his children.
Did you bring that evidence to court?
They gave it to my lawyer that presented it to the judge, and the judge said it in court with his lawyer being there, too.
Your Honor.
Mr. Horton, have you ever seen this paperwork?
That story is fabricated. There was no judge ordered anything.
The daughter got lost during this plaintiff-defendant battle, and the poor girl was so on edge. She dared not to step on anyone's toes, be it her mother or the potential father. But the judge saw it all, and her silent suffering.
Feeling torn in between their parents on any level, it is hard on the young person. As soon as this court case began, Ms. Horton was in tears.
Yeah.
Because this is hurting her. And I've seen her during this case look at her mother and say something to her like, Mommy, I love you, or it's gonna be okay. Then she's got turned back to you. Daddy, I mean, I can see this tennis ball.
The tension could not be psycher than ever. The courtroom held its breath as the judge prepared to drop the bombshell. Who is the father? The revelation was seconds away. Here goes nothing. Better get some tissues in hand, just in case you know.
Mr. Horton, you are the father.
Oh my God, yes! Mommy, you were right. You were right, Mommy. You were right. I love you so much. I knew I should have believed you, Mom. Oh my God, it's weird.